some definition on here, a little bit down on her little layer. Don't need as much definition on that part of her, but remember, blend it in. But of course we know we need to have a little bit of a definition because we want this to look like it's the shoulder. Yeah, that's coming on nicely. And again, like I said, we can just keep adding to it till we get the colour what we would like. Hopefully you can see we're gradually getting some shape to her. And some more, layer it up again because I want this to be right. So this now is the shape of her shoulder. A little line on there. And then I'll put a little bit of height on here as well. Right. Okay, I'm happy so far with what I'm getting here. But of course, until I've actually got her jacket or whatever she's wearing, like this drapey outer line on her, I know her neck mustn't be any wider than that. So I've brought that up into what's going to be the top part of her. But of course, we'd only have like a little line like that down the back of her neck, and then that will be build and build and build and build. A little bit more on here. There. Okay, so now I've got to decide what colour, beautiful, like drapey, I want like a feather effect on her. So I was thinking of bright purple, but that's probably not going to be enough in here. So I think if we make her in sort of like, I thought even just like white, because white can then have greys and silvers in it, and that can make it look really quite exquisite, I should imagine. So, right, here we go. So this is all my under, again, the under little bits, because even looking now at this, I'm going to make these are going to probably all be feathers once we're finished. So, because of course we can't see much, but that's exactly why I've chosen to do white, because I can just put white acrylic all on her here, and then I can cover up the C, because that'll be fine, that'll be the shape, and then I'm aiming to do lots and lots of different like feathery bits all over her. There. It doesn't matter if there's like pinky bits on it, because by the time I've got all her outfit done, it will be all different. It will be white with silver and other bits and pieces. I just want the you know, the depth to show that she's got all this sort of and you're thinking, why is she wearing a white feather dress? But again, she was meant to be looking like a goddess, or somebody who's going to just throw themselves into the water. It's like a surreal sort of picture. Right, I think that's enough of my undercoat for my feathery outfit, because I want to put lots more colour in. I've got to do all the shapes and everything on her in a minute. Right, so what we need to do now is decide on what sort of hair she's having. Right, what should we go for? I think she's going to have just nice little browny golden hair. So I'll put a little bit of, yeah, we'll have brown and gold hair, because she can have shortish hair, but then it can be quite, you know, quite unusual looking, because it is her back view, remember. And again, we've got yellow as well, so we can mix together the brown and the yellow. So this is where you've got to be a little bit more careful, because, you know, we want to give the impression of like a nice browny gold hair. So every single little strand will matter on this. because again we've got to do the build up. This is like, I do class this sort of bit very therapeutic, because I don't want it her hair to be too messy, because the skyline and everything is messy, but her hair's got to be just enough to know it's a lady on there. It's coming along. Hopefully you can see the depth of her looking. This time she probably does look angelic and surreal. But you see, this side of her hair, I'm making sure it's got more gold in, because this side is of course where all that sunset, she's actually in that part of the sun. You see bits of the yellow on the actual sea. Right, here we go. Some nice little, just imagine it, each time you're doing a stroke, it's like a hair on her head. So again, I'm using a bigger brush at the moment, but I will be using a smaller one to finish off in a moment. Are we liking her shape so far? She's looking a bit surreal really, isn't she? She's looking like it's all gentle and nice. So, and remember, this isn't going to be like a photograph. So this is like, we have to make sure it is a little bit messy, because that is what we're doing with this picture. Right, so what we do is we stand back. Are we liking what we see? Yep, it's coming on really well, but of course I've got so much white round her now, I need to blend it. So her hair I'm happy with, but of course I'm going to use a much smaller one. So what I'm going to do now is take a little bit of the reddies and blueies and, you know, all the mixture colour, and I'm going to touch it in just slightly, not a lot, but I don't want too much white there. I don't want it to be too neat, because that's the whole point. And I like her to have white around her because it makes her show up. But we just mingle in a little tiny bit, especially the neckline there. You liking again what we're doing? We just bring in a little bit of the sky on there. I don't like her to be too much on the top. Right, so her dress is looking really, really good. So now I want to make them look more like feathers. So this is why we need to have a slight different colour. Because it was the white, I think if I mix up a really, really nice sort of grey colour like this, then I should be able to do some little feathers. Little tiny little feathers. Again, very therapeutic. Lovely. Because it's still whitish, but of course it's now got a little bit of blue in it, which just basically gives her dress a little bit of life. All different ways round. It'll show a little tiny bit of movement. But of course I'm thinking I need to just do a slight border up here, because I think if it's a dress, that little bit would be slightly different. Yeah. I'm not going to overkill this picture. I'm going to make it as subtle as possible without ruining the little look. So of course here might be a little tiny little bit more edgy. I like it, loving this colour. And like I said, I'd normally have my loud music on whilst I'm doing this bit, but of course Michael Booby, I'm not allowed anymore because of copyright. So there we go. There. Okay, so what does it need now? Now we're having a little look. Okay, she's looking out into the water. She's got her lovely fluffy dress on, but I think what she needs now is some more gold in her hair, on that side, and I'm going to put more yellow on the picture to put more sunlight, more like, you know, from the sunset, because we need a few more yellow bits across here to make that all pop. There we go. Of course, if you can do whatever you like, if you can add more yellow in if you want more yellow, and you can see I've added down here, because you would get little bits of the sunset on there, wouldn't you? You'd get like a little bit across on there, on the water's edge. You wouldn't get so much on this side, but you still get a little tiny bit. We'll put a bit more of the sun up there on her near her face, because I want to put more in her hair. Okay, so I do have a little tiny pot of acrylic gold. So what I'm going to do with this is use a very, very tiny brush. That one looks quite good. Then I'm going to pop my, I'm going to have a just like a little tiny gold necklace, because I think that will make the difference. Put a little tiny necklace on her. There we go, on here, little tiny gold acrylic paint. So that will pop out, and of course I'm now going to put some little gold in her hair. This is a smaller little brush. This is a bit where we can make it look much more intricate, because now she's more blonde, because she's got that beautiful gold, acrylic gold paint on her, and this makes it a Sally picture.